The gentle patter of rain against the window was a familiar sound in our little cottage on the outskirts of Cheshire. It was a comforting rhythm that seemed to match the quiet beats of my heart, each droplet whispering a soothing lullaby. The year was 2000, and while the world outside was bustling with the dawn of a new millennium, my life had come to a standstill. Losing Mum had been like losing a part of myself, and the overwhelming grief had left me in a state of emotional paralysis. Dad had been my rock through it all, but even he couldn't fill the void Mum had left behind. I often found solace in our routine, particularly the hour we spent together every afternoon watching Fox Kids. Digimon Adventure was our favorite. There was something about the world of digital monsters and their human partners that made the real world seem a little less daunting. It was during one of these afternoons, as the adventures of TK and his Patamon unfolded on the screen, that a new chapter of my life began. I was curled up on the sofa, my head resting against Dad's shoulder, when the doorbell rang. The sound was jarring, pulling me out of the digital realm and back into reality. Dad gave me a reassuring squeeze before he stood up to answer the door. I heard the murmur of voices and then the door closing. Dad returned, carrying a small cardboard box. He set it on the coffee table, and I sat up, curious. "What's that?" I asked, my voice barely above a whisper. Dad smiled gently. "Not sure, love. Let's have a look." We carefully opened the box, and there, nestled inside, was a tiny creature with large, expressive eyes and a pair of bat-like ears. My heart skipped a beat. I recognized him immediately. It was Tokomon, the baby form of Patamon. There was a note inside the box. I unfolded it and read the scrawled handwriting. "Dear Tabitha, I've grown tired of Patamon and need someone to look after him. I know you'll take good care of him. TK." I looked up at Dad, my eyes wide with disbelief. "It's from TK," I said, my voice trembling with a mix of excitement and anxiety. Dad chuckled softly. "Well, it looks like we have a new member of the family." I carefully lifted Tokomon out of the box. He was light and warm, and as he looked up at me with those big eyes, I felt a rush of affection. "Hello, Tokomon," I whispered. "Welcome to your new home." Dad watched us with a gentle smile. "Let's get him settled in, shall we?" We took Tokomon into the kitchen and set him on the table. He looked around with curiosity, his little mouth opening and closing as if he was trying to take in everything at once. "Are you hungry?" I asked, unsure of what a Digimon might eat. Dad rummaged through the cupboards and pulled out a variety of foods. We tried a bit of everything, bread, fruit, biscuits, until we found that Tokomon seemed to favor apples. He nibbled on them eagerly, making happy little noises that warmed my heart. After his meal, we decided it was time for a bath. Tokomon didn't seem too keen on the idea at first, but once he was in the warm water, he relaxed. We used a gentle soap and carefully washed him, making sure to avoid his sensitive ears. He splashed around, giggling in that adorable way of his, and I couldn't help but laugh along. Once he was clean and dry, we took him into the living room. It was time to introduce him to one of our favorite pastimes, watching Noddy. I popped in the old VHS tape of Noddy and the Magic Knight, and we all settled down on the sofa. Tokomon was captivated by the colorful stop-motion animation and the whimsical adventures of the little wooden boy. He laughed out loud at Noddy's antics, especially the part where Noddy accidentally added a pint of milk to the mixture for Big Ear's birthday cake right in front of Mr. Milko. His laughter was infectious, and for the first time in what felt like forever, I felt a genuine smile spread across my face. As the episode ended, Tokomon yawned and snuggled up against me, his tiny body warm and comforting. I looked over at Dad, who had a thoughtful expression on his face. "He's made himself right at home, hasn't he?" Dad said softly. I nodded, stroking Tokomon's soft fur. "He's just what we needed," I replied. Dad placed a gentle hand on my shoulder. "I think we need to make our home more comfortable for him. What do you say we work on that tomorrow?" I looked down at Tokomon, who was now fast asleep, and then back at Dad. "I'd like that," I said, feeling a sense of purpose and hope for the first time in a long while. That night, as I lay in bed with Tokomon nestled beside me, I felt a warmth in my heart that I hadn't felt since Mum passed away. It was as if this little Digimon had brought a ray of light into the darkness that had enveloped my life. And as I drifted off to sleep, I knew that this was just the beginning of a new adventure, one that would bring healing and joy to both me and Dad. The next day, we would start making our home a place of comfort and love for Tokomon, just as he had already begun to make it for us.